So now that we have our bad wheel bearing diagnosed in this Chevy S10, we're going to go ahead and change it out. Now here's a new one. I always get Moog parts, at least they're halfway decent. Made in Korea though, I don't know. I've had some bad experiences with Korean wheel bearings. But here's what it looks like. So compared to that Audi that we did, that was a press-in wheel bearing, this is an actual hub assembly. So in theory, 3 bolts, pops right out, you put the new one in, comes with a new ABS sensor. So we'll actually get to finally change that sensor out that was causing the ABS issue in an earlier video. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can crank this one out pretty quick. Alright, first thing, obviously I got the vehicle jacked up in the front. It's on jack stands, so the wheel's off the ground. And we gotta take these little plastic caps off first. One nice thing about working on the ground is you don't have to lift wheels all day long, right? It just comes right down and you don't have to go anywhere. Now we gotta get this brake caliper assembly off, and there's no need to take the caliper off the bracket, just take the whole thing and swing it out of the way. So we got these nuts right here. I think they're a little smaller than a 19, maybe an 18. These GMs, you never know what size. Almost like an Audi. So we'll buzz these bolts out here. Probably use a swivel socket for this guy. Sometimes you can't even get to these nuts. You have to use other ways. It's an 18. So there you go. Loosen that up. Got our caliper tied out of the way here on a little bungee. Take the rotor off. I almost feel like I'm making a Scotty Kilmer video. I know you skip all the hard parts, but Eric makes them look easy, so I don't know. Now we want to get this axle nut off of here, and that I believe is a 35 millimeter. So I gotta go get the big sockets here. 35 it is. Let's see if the impact gun can handle this guy. One more thing we have to unclip is the ABS sensor. Now, I mean, this one's been taped up and stuff, but usually I just save them anyways because you never know when another Chevy's going to need an ABS sensor, and if you have one in stock you can kind of save the customer some money, at least temporarily. So these clips we've already undone before, and they're kind of rusty, so try not to break them too much. Three metal clips that I've just snipped, and you know, they'll hold the wire, but I don't feel like taking those bolts out. That's going to cause more damage than it's worth. And then finally unhook your ABS connector right up under this little fender liner. Pop that guy out, we're home free. I'm just gonna take that ABS sensor out completely. It's a 4, is it a 4mm? Yep, 4mm hex. Maybe it's a rusted 5, who knows. I'm gonna get that out and then I'll show you how to proceed from there. Get that little ABS sensor bolt out. I actually use these guys, the VAMPLIERS. Now, I'll admit, I did see these on the Scotty channel, and hey, they're made in Japan. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give these a try, and they're pretty sweet. They have these really nice serrated gripping surfaces, so you can basically, if your bolt is rounded out, you can grip it this way or sideways, and it gets a real nice bite. And hey, you did the trick here. So thanks, Scotty. I owe you one, man. Hey, and the ABS sensor popped right out. Would you believe it? Usually they're rusted in there and you end up breaking off the little cap, you know, the head of it. So, at least we got one salvaged ABS sensor out of the deal. That's pretty sweet. So put that in our emergency rainy day GM parts box. So here's the fun part. We actually have to unscrew the hub from the knuckle now, and it's held in by 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. There's a third one, all rusty of course. And the heads are on the back side, so that's why, you know, the axle, we don't need to take it out all the way, but just enough so we get some access room so we can get a socket on these bolts here. So let's see if we can crack these guys loose. So for good luck, I use this variation of Panther P, WD-40 Specialist. It seems to work fine, and it doesn't smell too bad, and it doesn't eat rubber, so it's kind of safe. You can just go wild with it. So let that soak in for a little bit and we'll try to crack these loose. So here's the first shot. Got the impact with a swivel socket, 18mm, the first bolt, and I know these Harbor Freight swivel sockets have a tendency of flying apart sometimes, so safety third, right? But hey, my wife's an optometrist, so she wouldn't allow me not to wear safety goggles. Sweet. So that guy is coming right out. So you don't need to take it all the way out, just, you know, maybe a fraction of an inch there. And that way, when we finally break the rust seal here, the bearing won't fall on our foot. It'll just get held in by these bolts. So let me do the same thing with the other two, and we'll try to get this baby out of here. So the third bolt here is kind of a pain in the butt because the socket won't fit because of this upper ball joint nut here. So I just got a, you know, regular open-ended or a closed-end wrench on there. So let's see if we can do the old hammer trick. Oh yeah, it just takes a little longer, but if it works, right? So I'm going to back this guy out a hair. And now what we want to do is spray the mating surface here with our Panther P again. And hopefully this one won't be stuck in there too bad, but you know, it's been 15 years since this truck was built. Alright, so if there's one tool that I would say is really handy to have for wheel bearing replacement, is a slide hammer. This guy, I think I got online for like $100 or something, and I've used it many times and it's holding up great. So what we want to do in this case is put one of these hub adapters onto our old hub. Now I have a little baggie here of nuts that I don't care about because these nuts will get a little damaged during the process here while we're hammering this hub off. So use some old crappy nuts that you have, and you just want to bolt it down. I'll actually use an impact to get these tight so this won't wobble on the hub. And then well, we'll just give it a whack and see if it budges. Alright, so first snug these nuts down a little bit. The air compressor's annoying, isn't it? Now we screw in our rod into the adapter. Now keep in mind the axle, the CV axle is still sticking out there, so you don't want to like push on it too hard, harm the joint. We'll snug that down with a wrench. Alright, here's the fun part. Now I wear my insulated motorcycling gloves. They have really nice padding because when you're hammering on this for 5 minutes, it could be longer, your hands are going to feel it. So hey, alright, let's see. That's how it's going to go. Alright, what happened here? The hub came out of the rest of the bearing assembly, right? So you might think, oh, game over. Well, no, not really. All you have to do is get the bolts out the rest of the way and then screw them in from this side, and then you'll have something to grab onto and pull the rest of the assembly off. So we're going to do that. So time to get a little inventive here. So I put this other adapter on the hub with the actual mounting bolts, and only 2 of them fit because, you know, the third one, the hole spacing is off. So in order to keep this adapter from wobbling, I put a piece of sheet metal right in here and just pinched it down, and now we can hammer on it and it should be pretty stable. So we'll give that a whirl. Alright, here we go. Try number 2. Sweet! Usually they come out in like 5 minutes. That was like 5 seconds. Alright, well, all we have to do now is clean up the mating surface, slap the new one on, we're good to go. Now I know you guys like to see when and where the parts actually failed in the inner row of bearings. You can feel roughness, and you pop this race out. Yeah, they're looking a little brown, so it looks like water got in past the seal right here and did its thing. So definitely changing the right bearing, that's for sure. So when you're cleaning these mating surfaces for the hubs, you just want to get all the big chunks off and, you know, get on the inside there. Let's use a little drill. Does a pretty decent job. Get on the inside lip here. Now we'll grease this up and slap. Alright, so we got our hub surface greased up with some muscle grease. Again, courtesy of Eric. Thanks for recommending this. Works great. Don't forget your backing plate, or what's left of it, for the the dust shield for the brake. Now we just slide this whole assembly right onto the CV axle, and it should pop right in if we did a good job cleaning all the rust off. There's an O-ring on here. It should slide in too. There we go. pretty good. So, pretty straightforward from here. Tighten up all your bolts to factory specifications and plug in your ABS sensor. Be good to go. I'll show you a finished product in a sec. Alright, she's all buttoned up. Spin smooth. I guess that was a lot easier and faster than the press-in style bearing that we did on the Audi. I was itching to try out my new OTC forcing screw that I got to replace that cheap Harbor Freight one, but in this case all you need is a slide hammer and some simple hand tools, and cross your fingers that it's not too rusted in there because they can stick, you know. But this time we got lucky, so hope you enjoyed that. Till next time, see you guys, bye.